Welcome to another episode of my Motortown playthrough. Today we are back where we left off last time. So it's time to take a full bus from Jeju terminal to Gangyang, and then we'll just go and do another lap around Jeju Island before going back to Gapa. So this is just the continuation of the bus route I started in the last episode. It's an immensely long one, and therefore I completely lost sight of how long the video would be. I also wager a guess that it's really not that amazingly profitable right now. That's partially due to some people getting on here onto the bus that are just sticking around for way too long, because just getting back to Gapa, for example, it's just gonna take a whole 2 laps around Jeju Island, likely a bit less depending on when you got on. But it's also just that my town bonus right now with my current bus setup isn't really that high. I'll see how it's gonna recover once I change things up, but I at least want to give you guys a round of how this route is working right now. And once again we start by just going across the entire island before switching to doing the entire lap in reverse now. I think we did counterclockwise before, which is the regular layout of Olle Ring, with a few stops missing here and there and a few things different for how I handle it. But now we are gonna go straight back to the Gangyang terminal and then continue going clockwise, before leaving the island again for Gapa and seeing how many people we can deliver to there and also pick up at that point. It's a whole thing. But yeah, for once I'm taking the highway. I usually try to avoid this using buses because in the end it's kinda... there aren't any bus stops over here. I mean, there isn't really anything over here, so that checks out. I could have maybe gone for the dirt route. That would have been a decent enough choice. But one thing this allows me for this route in particular... oh, the other one needs a bit of repair. I'm gonna do that in a moment. Basically, I'm gonna do most of the lap around the island, but then once I get back to the bridge to the east of me, so to the left over there, I'm just gonna go straight forward and go back down. So I'm skipping the Pyosan fishing village for this lap around, kind of the same as I did for the last time, because I didn't go to any stops over there. That was a spicy turn. Can't see anything here. But yeah, just going through here and starting the route right here at least allow me to take in people from these bus stops. I mean, right now there aren't any people. Maybe somebody wants to get off. Doesn't seem that way. Also, the bus would be full anyway, so even if there was somebody standing there, tough luck. Let me just go into autopilot now. I think eventually I'll have them sync up again so that I'll just refresh all of them at the same time. But if they aren't even all halfway down, it's not really all that necessary. It's a waste of a little money, but it's a waste of money nonetheless. I should maybe add a few additional lights or something. That would be fun. I also wish the buses were upgradable with the digital displays and all of that. Just having the text for your bus route run through there. I hope it's gonna come at some point. I think most of the buses right now are pretty much they are from the asset packs anyways. I know the Dumby is a in-house made model, and I'm not entirely sure about the Lilliput. I don't remember seeing the Lilliput on anything, so I think it might be also an in-house model. But yeah, it's a bit inconsistent with which of the buses have the stuff and which don't. And yeah, a lot of people in downtown just waiting for the bus because once again, it's just doing rounds somewhere outside the city and not really serving the main bus stops. And it definitely has to stop at some point. Also, one fun thing that I saw unfold over the past few days that I want to talk about is the whole Helldivers situation. So that's a cross-platform video game that's primarily on the PlayStation, but also can be bought on Steam for PC. And I know that at this point it will be old news, but they actually, yeah, Sony tried to get people to sign up for PSN, which is kind of useless for anybody just on PC. And the backlash was so severe that they completely reversed their decision within like a few days or something. I think it started happening on Friday, Saturday or something, where the community really gave them some backlash for that weird decision. And a lot of people got refunds on Steam, like people who had like multiple thousand hours on the game just said that yeah, I cannot play anymore because PlayStation is forcing me into something that I do not accept. And they just got the full refund. Was of course review bombing, and yeah, on Sunday we just got confirmation that the entire thing is gonna be called off, which is nice. I mean, in the end, it's all about data for Sony, I think. Just whatever they can mine from people, that's why they did this kind of thing. When it comes to the whole security point, I think that's kind of the opposite of an argument where Sony is getting security and data breaches all the time. So it's really more secure if you don't have an account with them than if you do. But that's for your own security, and that's not what Sony is talking about. Yeah, I just found the entire thing funny, and it's kind of nice that sometimes internet backlash does a few good things. Also, apparently the actual developers were also um, just talking against the entire thing. So this was really not a company-wide supported decision. It was really just coming from Sony, and nobody really liked it. Apparently the CEO of the dev team also is partially to blame because they admitted that they kind of knew about it happening at some point. They just didn't really they decided to not be upfront about it, which is also kind of shitty in its own right. But I think in the end, this got resolved in the best way possible by just completely reversing the decision. Did I miss that guy, or does he just not want to go with me? Okay, I'm gonna quickly jump out here and take a look at him. Did he spawn in after I got the other people here? Because otherwise, once again, he should be getting into my bus. I had the same situation in the last video, and I think that guy also wanted to go to the exact same location. So that's a bit odd. But yeah, it's when it comes to the whole thing about PlayStation and Helldivers, I think it's a good thing that people don't just accept any amount of bullshit. Okay, the reason I'm here right now, and I should have announced this maybe, I want to quickly go and buy a large parking lot so that I can plop it down on the new property that I just bought in the last episode. Just gonna go and get this one right here. And we're just gonna go and carry it around for the rest of the episode. Once I get back to that plot, I'll be just putting it down, and then we'll be able to use it for some stuff in the future. I'm also considering to build a house on there and decorate it, but that might need to wait until later. After all, most of the things that make the properties useful is what you can do already by just buying them, so you can teleport over there. Popping down a parking lot allows you to get out any vehicle at that point, and that's most of the things being dealt with. The other one, of course, and that's more of a minor thing, being able to sleep at that point and just skip the night. And the last one, and that's more of not really useful thing, but also something that's kind of fun. Just having another space to decorate and build a house on, that kind of thing. I think for that one I'll be going with a sandstone house. That should look pretty nice in that location. Oops. I'm a bit surprised that the brakes just grip that much, because they don't usually do that. I've forgotten any type of brake upgrades apart from the brake pads here. So the power should still be the same, but for some reason sometimes apparently it just does weird stuff, and yeah, that's how you lose comfort levels. And a whole lot of money, potentially. Yeah, we are back at Harlem Fishing Village, and yeah, since we are going to go not only for the pier but also the terminal, we are going to do a bit of a weird thing again. This time around going to the pier first, and then coming back around to the terminal. What the hell is going on with the brakes right now? That kinda sucks. Yeah, it's just jumping way up there for some reason. Yeah, I gotta be a bit more careful, as the people have told me multiple times now, the passengers where that is. Am I in the wrong bus? Where can I see my mileage? Because I think the thing is, I tried upgrading one of them with the brakes, and maybe this is the wrong one right now. I mean, it shouldn't be, but this is really a weird thing. So I don't know if I've probably explained it in the last episode, but the reason I'm doing this weird thing with the terminal over here is that while the buses, and that is the AI company buses, they can come into that terminal from any direction. For some reason they will only ever want to leave up north, because that's the roadside that's adjacent to the terminal, and apparently they don't cross over because they don't see the entire thing as an intersection. And I'm gonna be running the rest of the road most likely very suboptimally with no additional comfort. Once we get back to the heavy-duty dealership, I might have to take a quick look at what's going on under the hood here. Or maybe I accidentally got out of comfort mode. That might be another thing. Yeah, comfort mode is the thing. The brakes are less aggressive in there, and that just caused me to lose the comfort level here. Didn't even notice changing that, so that's my bad, I guess. Still, if you get higher brake power, then the brakes are going to be more aggressive in every mode, and therefore it's going to be even in comfort mode, it's going to be complicated and require a bit of brake feathering in order to keep your comfort level at a high one and not just losing it every time you touch the brakes a bit. I mean, to be fair, what I've done there wasn't really touching the brakes a bit, it was just going full hog on them. But I was fully expecting to not lose any comfort there, so yeah. That didn't work out. So we're almost back in Jeju. There's another town over here. I still remember back in the day when this entire town was basically... It was just a straight bit of road coming off to one side of the ring road. And just going around a few buildings, just with two 90-degree turns and then going back to the road straight away. And the little warehouse over there was just adjacent to that, and that was everything. And I think A-Wall was even smaller, it was just one single road that was a cul-de-sac, so didn't go anywhere. But now they are looking much more nicely, especially just with all the other stuff around them. I had a comment the other day about how long it took for this island to be built up to this state it's currently in, and how they expect it to take multiple years until the other one follows suit. And I'm not entirely sure if that's gonna be the case. I think at least from what I can tell right now, it's more likely that Oatly will not be quite as densely populated, so I don't know if it's gonna be getting too many towns in the end. I certainly hope at least or at least a few more over there. But besides all of that, it's also, well, since the game has come out in early access, somebody has joined the team who is now doing the stuff for world building and all of that. And from what I've seen, just from the last update, when the refinery came out, even just on the minor patches that came out, there was always some significant work being done on the terrain and everything there, and it seemed to work out quite well. And yeah, the speed at which that kind of stuff developed was it was pretty rapid in my opinion. So while I don't know the overall scope of things that they have planned for OG, I think we're gonna see a few things happening there rather quickly. I might be eating my words once we get the next update. Hard to evaluate what they are working on right now. It seems like, I mean, it might just be other things as well. So more things that are behind the scenes and stuff like that. I know that again the logging stuff will be revamped to some degree, but everything else we'll just have to wait and see. But I hope that OG is gonna see some significant development with that update. And it also just comes sooner than later. I'm kinda tired of talking about it, I want to finally see it, experience it for myself. 2 months since the last update came out on the beta branch is quite a long time, even for what this game usually does. But then again, if they have an update where it makes more sense to ship a lot of stuff in one go, or some of the things that they want to do are just so massive, and it makes more sense to put them out as one thing, and then it's just gonna take a bit more time. But I also hope that this time span between updates is not gonna become the norm. We'll have to wait and see. Also, my brakes and wheels are now giving out, so giving in on their way out. Gonna have to visit the shop over there anyways. Also refueling. Definitely needed now, especially since this is the last stop before Oldley. Or at least the last gas station. Pretty empty at the bus stop over here. Bit of a shame, but there are multiple buses going through here, so there may have just been another one coming through. Okay, let's see. We have 2 of the brake pads being used up. The other ones are still pretty good. And 2 of the tires, same thing here, so I might as well replace them. I don't fully know how much of a detriment it is to take tires above 20%. That's when you first get the symbol, but it might still be alright. I know that around 50% they become pretty much useless. Hello. Unless you want to do some drifting and don't need any grip for that. Also, I don't think I ever really finished my train of thought when it came to the whole 80 meters per liter fuel consumption thing. I think in the end, there are multiple ways to adjust this, but I think for the amount of refueling that we do in this game, it kinda works out pretty well. I wish the buses would need less refueling, because it's a bit awkward doing that while on an active route and all of that. But for everything else, I think that's kind of working out. That's how things should be. Just so that it's not completely irrelevant doing this stuff. But I guess somewhere we're either gonna pull wool over people's eyes and give them way more of a way lower consumption rate than it is right now. At least pretend it is lower, but then again, we know how far stuff is away from each other in this game, so if it tells me that maybe I'm using a liter for like every 800 meter or something, it's still gonna not add up with the amount of fuel I have in my fuel tank, and also just the amount of kilometers I can do before needing a refuel. So yeah, at some point it's always gonna be a bit messy. So I don't really mind it being upfront with that, even though it's just completely unrealistic once you think about the value. So the other option would be just a very tiny fuel tank. Yeah, that would likely need to be when have all the fuel become much more costly, so that you still pay about the same for the entire thing. Or you could really go with realistic values, but then you would likely not be refueling for entire trips down to Senho at any point. So I don't really know what the best course of action is. I think it's also not the worst idea just keeping it as it is. Bus in local condition again. I'm gonna take care of that in a moment. But yeah, now we also get to the point that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Let me just pull up the map real quick. We started in Lijo over here, then drove down and all the way across the island to go to Gengyang, taking care of some of the bus stops along the way, and then doing the entire route around the outside. But this is actually the part that we are going to skip now, because, well, we need to go back down to Gapa, and yeah, for that we now need to turn left in a moment. So that's how the entire thing is going to work here. And in the end, that village doesn't really create a lot of people who need who need a bus driver, so it's alright in the end, I guess. But yeah, I think once this video is over, I will likely just go and rework the entire system again. I noticed that there's an import and export button for the routes, so I might be able to make some quick duplicates from the existing routes and then just a few things here. I also may want to readjust some of stuff so it's sorted a bit differently. Maybe I can just export a few routes that I want to keep around but don't really need right now. Otherwise, if I want to keep all the stuff from the different iterations of my entire bus company here, with about 5 routes each time, it's gonna be a bit annoying in the long run. I don't know, I'll have to figure out just what the entire thing gives me once I press the export button. And also how importing stuff back in works. Another thing that I've been recently suggesting as an upgrade for the entire bus company thing is that you should be able to segment your bus routes a bit further. So in case if you have a route that's not really doing a loop but instead just going from A to B and then back to A, you should be able to say that your line ends at A and B, and that basically while it is all saved in the same route and you're just gonna continue driving that route back the other direction, it's gonna count as a different one, just so that just so that people who maybe want to only go the other direction don't get on the bus yet, because that might just fill up the entire thing and keep other people from joining. I think one of the more straightforward things that I can say to that end is that right now with this bus line, I would definitely put an end of the line break at the Gapa terminal, just so that everybody who wants to go to Gapa goes on and or gets on and goes there. But for example, right now, I might have a lot of people who want to go to Gangyang or the Harlem terminal there, or even back to Jeju. And those are just gonna stick around for a long time, and they will just not leave the bus right now. And that might mean that I'm driving down to Gapa, getting a few people to leave the bus there, give me the money and all of that, but I might not even be able to get all the people from Gapa collected and bring them to where they need to, because the bus is just still too full with other people. And if I could just set an end of the line break and only have people join the bus that need to go that direction, so they would only go they would only go onto the bus if it arrives at another station or another bus stop before reaching the next end of line break, and the destination is God, I'm really doing a poor thing of explaining it. So basically, passengers will only enter the bus if it is going to reach one of their destinations before the next end of line break. So it's not gonna just overfill with a lot of people who want to go into a completely different location way further down the line, just blocking off seats that others might actually be using, getting on and getting off before that person might ever leave the bus. So that's my entire train of thought with that. We'll have to see what comes from that. But right now it feels like there are so many ideas for the game from a lot of different people, and just waiting for 2 months until the update comes out, and God knows how much longer it's gonna take until we finally can get our hands on it. It's a bit discouraging, because at this point the list of wishes is just gonna become longer. But I still expect the next update to deliver something quite amazing and quite significant, so it's gonna be all good in the end. But I also wish there was more capacity for the devs to take on some suggestions from people and get that stuff going. Although honestly, I don't really know how many upvotes or whatever other metric there needs to be fulfilled. I think I don't know if Mr. Wang watches over everything happening on the Discord, but at least yeah, he should hopefully see some of the higher upvoted suggestions and that kind of stuff. And I mean, in the end, it's always gonna depend on how he thinks of the suggestions, and that might be the final decider on whether they are going to be put into the game. So yeah, while I'm glad that they are taking suggestions and that kind of stuff, feedback in general, some things that other games could also benefit from, Railroads Online. In the end, it's a bit opaque on how or when any suggestions, any ideas, feedback, that kind of thing might be incorporated or even just end up on the Trello. But then again, there are also quite a few things that I've never really seen on the Trello, and they just make their way into the game all of a sudden. I don't think there was ever much about the different trailers and the different sub-variants and everything that we would get. Man, this thing is shaky. Thank God I don't have comfort anymore, because those people would be very annoyed with me right now. Not that they actually care about this kind of stuff, but yeah, I like to imagine. If the windows turn green all of a sudden, we know what's up. But yeah, we are about done with this route. And again, after this one is done, I'll just go ahead and rework the bus routes again. See what I can come up with and hope that it works better. If it doesn't work, I might just go back to my initial version. Because the second iteration, while it had a few ideas, I mean, there were certainly ideas involved with this, it just didn't really work out too well. And yeah, in the end, I don't expect too many people to be getting off here. There might be a few sitting there for the majority of the ride, just waiting for me to finally reach Gapa, but I wouldn't be surprised if the majority just wants to go somewhere around Jeju Island. So I need to find a better way to accommodate for that, and yeah. Ideally, I would have a bus that only gets people from Gapa to other places and just from other places back to Gapa, but if somebody wants to go from one other place to another, they should just take another bus. But that's not how this game works.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But I think that would be something that I could pretty much ensure with my idea of having end-of-the-line brakes. And here we are, at least a few people around here, so this is kind of filling up anyway, so this is alright.
Thank you.
By the way, I forgot to refresh the condition. We are making a bit of money. This one, where even is it? Over here. Yeah, I think we need to do another few rounds before it really starts picking up. It's a bit tough for the stuff to recover if it went all the way down. And yeah, me just respawning it is not really helpful there. Once there are some people on there, there's usually a few more that go to each location, and then it's gonna start making money well. I always forget that I should put it in neutral. I just want to quickly see who here didn't want to enter the vehicle. Okay, Gangyang Terminal didn't go on, that's annoying. Oil Refinery, yeah, that's fine, I'm not serving that with this bus. Jeju, Senho, Senho,
Hello.
Seon-san, so
Hello.
it seems like about 50% of the people who should have entered my bus decided not to. Maybe a bit less than 50%. There were definitely a few more at the back end who want to go to the refinery. So this is a bit weird, especially since I'm going to the different terminals at least. I'm not gonna go out of my way and create a route that does basically everything here, because that would be very silly. But I think nothing much left to do apart from getting rid of the bus here. I also want to quickly show you guys my interior for the new house that I built here. We've seen it briefly in the last episode, but I also want to just quickly go around here and show you guys what's in there. Just to prove that it's not completely empty. So for this one I decided to take both of the regular houses, the large one and the small one. Initially I want to have my bed and PC in this one here, but I then decided that it's likely be better to put that in there and just have a few more things going on in that one. So this one is more of the lounge area. Having a full cinema setup, just a sofa and what's the word for these things? Not really a chair, it's just a seat. Let's call it that. And yeah, this is working out pretty well, looking kind of nice, being a bit empty. I wish we could also just have an entire kitchen interior, but at this point I think I'm at about 43 out of 50 possible items. So over here we have more of my personal space, my bed, triple screen PC setup. And one thing that I definitely need to buy is one of the shelves, just so that I can put the printer and the lamp on there, because this is mighty awkward. The fun thing about this is that I put everything here into one single tronco. This was one solo delivery here. So everything worked out pretty fine, everything fit in here, but it was quite tight, and I think in the end it would have been faster just go 2 times instead of trying to get everything into this thing at once. Fun challenge on its own, but it's yeah, not been the wisest choice. Also a few planters right here. But yeah, I think I really just need the shelf, and that will be about it. I wish we had another option to get a few cupboards. Just yeah, just something where you would put your clothes in and that kind of thing. Right now it's really looking a bit bare bones, but maybe we'll also get that in the future. There have been people asking for this kind of stuff. Just getting more of the posts that are already in the game to be available for purchase and for our own use. But anyways, that's it from my end for this one. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about my whole bus route tangent and everything. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Might be time for a break. We'll have to see about that. Until then, till next time, have a good one and bye bye.